Alright, what we want to show you today is a little demo case that we built for the microdrive 4-20. Right now, to go over just what we have, the basic stuff that we have in here, we've got 2 relay alarm outputs that we're just showing with LED lamps. We've got just a standard inhibit button. We also have the drive itself, which I'll go into more detail in a few minutes. We've got a typical HOA switch, which just selects whether you want an auto mode, which is following the 4-20, off, which is no power to it at all, or manual mode, which is going to be set by the up-down arrows here. Over here I've got my 4-20 milliamp generator signal. This signal is just driven by a 4-20 generator that I have buried down the bottom of this box, and it's just so that I can control 4-20 to an input to this drive. So normally you wouldn't have a pot to do the 4-20. This would automatically come from your SCADA system or your PLC or your computer system. Over here we've got a pickup mounted on the back of a motor, just so we can get to close the loop with the drive. And then down below it I've got an indicator that actually shows you what the 4-20 milliamp output signal is doing. Okay, now this output doesn't show you 4-20 milliamps, it actually displays 0 to 100%. So as I turn up the speed over here with my 4-20, I turned up my 4-20 signal. When I get to 1800 to 100%, I'm at 100% over here on the reading. Or I've actually lowered it now some. If I set it at half speed, which is 900 RPM, get it close, I ain't gonna worry about being perfect. It's just a little bit over on my speed, it's just a little bit over on my display. So that shows you that the 4-20 output and the input and output signals are 100% isolated from each other. So there's no feedback or you have to worry about any ground loops or anything else like that. Okay, now we'll go back over to what the control actually does. The alarm outputs that we have up here, we're showing you as LED lamps, 120 volt LED lamps. These alarm outputs can be used for anything that the customer chooses. These are Type C contact relays, 5 amps, 240 volts. So you can actually drive something real life with them. So, or you can run them back to your PLC. It's totally up to the customer. What the alarm outputs do is also totally up to the customer. The typical one for water treatment industry is pump running, which is why I have it as the green. This means your pump's actually turning. And then another one that they like to use a lot of would be pump fault. If you notice the red light's off, I can make the red light come on by putting the E-stop button on. Okay, now the red light's on because my pump is off. I've got this one set up to 2 conditions, either 0 speed from my 4-20 or an E-stop command. So as soon as I release it, the pump running light comes back on, the red light goes back off. Just what you'd expect in a normal condition. As I change the speed all the way, if I go all the way to 0, the pump running contact goes off, the other lamp comes on. Okay, I'm just trying to show everybody this so that you can get a feel for what you can do with their user assignable outputs. Basically, they're programmable for whatever the customer wants to do. Please refer to the manual on setting your user assignable outputs to see how you do it. You can and or them together so you can have more conditions than one, make an alarm go off. Okay, now we're going to get back to the control a little more. The control, there's a few things I want to go over with you in control. Is if I want to, I've got a 4-20 milliamp signal coming in, I've got it in auto mode. Now I want to select it to manual mode because say something went wrong with my computer, my SCADA system's down, I can still flip this thing to manual mode and manually run the speed up and down to wherever I want. Now one of the things that some of you might have noticed when I was in automatic mode, this was staying on constantly, this LED. Now when I'm in manual mode it blinks. That's designed. If you look over here, there's a little line, I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, but there's a little line above and then a dash line below. What that dash line and what the straight line means, if it's on solid, that LED, it's whatever the command is above it. If it's blinking like it is right now, it's just telling you that it's in that. So when you're in automatic mode, this is a little status indicator that you're in manual mode because it's blinking. If I turn it back to auto mode, you'll notice that that LED just stays on all the time. Now if you want to do some programming in the drive, you're going to hold the enter key until you get to item 0. This thing's all programmed by item number, so you just go to the item number you want, which I will go to display intensity. No, it's 11. Display intensity, I'm going to show you how it changes on the fly. See how dim the display got? Now if I want to make the display brighter, I can make it brighter. So I'm just trying to show you something that everybody can see actually change and happen. Now once you get to the setting that you want it at, you hit the enter key, you're right back at item 11. If that's the only thing you wanted to program, to back out, you just go to item 0, hit the enter key, you're right back out in the run menu, and it's actually doing whatever the 4 to 20 milliamp does. This is just a basic water treatment system, okay? The reason I wanted to go over this with you with the drive is understand that this one actually has a DC drive built into it. This is the MD40P-4 to 20. We also make the same thing in a new version that we make for the ASP40-4 to 20. The nice thing about the ASP, it can be hooked to an inverter of any horsepower or a DC drive of any horsepower. As long as that drive has a speed pod input, you can tie an ASP to it. What's that going to give you? It's going to give you all the bells and whistles that you have right now with this micro drive. 2 relay alarm outputs, an HOA input selector, 4 to 20 input, and 4 to 20 output. The nice thing is that makes closing the loop with your SCADA system a piece of cake. You know, right now all we did was show you the basic operation of this demo case